Hello and welcome to what I am very much hoping will be the set of the first of many videos you will be likely to watch and follow on this channel. The idea is these will help you out through your lesson notes for every single lesson covered. So we start off today by introducing you to the Year 12 course, so welcome aboard. You might be wondering why I've called this Pure Chapter 0.1, so why start at Chapter 0? Well, you may well be watching this after a long summer. You might be slightly rusty, to an extent that's forgivable and expectable. However, we're not going to start Chapter 1 proper. I want to just let you consider these two introductory lessons as warming you back up into the swing of things so that you're ready to make the big jump from GCSE to A-level, and have no illusions, it is a very big jump indeed. So we're going to start off by recovering some of the prior GCSE content you should be very familiar with by now. Before we start properly though, I need to give my own sort of shout out and big thank you, sincere thank you to Mr. Brockway. Mr. Brockway, without this, none of this could be possible. So if you don't know, Mr. Brockway has compiled almost all of these notes. I'd say 90%, maybe a shade over. In fact, almost definitely a shade over. I might have tinkered and tweaked and done maybe one chapter here and there, but Mr. Brockway has laid the groundworks for essentially pretty much all of these notes, and not just for Year 12, but for Year 13. Without these notes in place, I don't think I would be in a position to make the videos that accompany them. So a massive thank you from me, and it should be from you as well, to Mr. Brockway, because he's set this course up pretty much single-handedly, from as I understand it. Anyway, so to introduce you furthermore to the course, we always start off by having a warm-up of 4 questions. The idea being, it gets you into the lesson, the first 10 minutes, lets you get warmed into things, and as well as that, as time goes on, it's a crucial opportunity to allow you to revise the previous skills you should have learned. So it's a twofold reason we do this. So here are the first set of warm-up questions. So have a go at these if you can. Pause the video now, get them jotted down and attempt them. When you're ready to see the solutions, play the video again, and I'll talk you through step by step how I've arrived at the answers. Okay, so let's start with question 1. Question 1, you have to find the areas of these smaller rectangles in the diagram below. So I know you know that the area of a rectangle is length times width. So as I say, this is a warm-up. So the first rectangle here, we've got x along the top, 5 down the side. So it's x wide and 5 long ways down. So x multiplied by 5, or 5 multiplied by x, is obviously going to be 5x. The second one is a 3 by 5 rectangle. 3 times 5 is 15. So part B, we need to write down an expression for the area of the large rectangle, the whole thing. So what we did is we multiplied the length of it across here, which is x and a positive 3, by this width, which is 5. And so 5 multiplied by x plus 3 is 5x plus 15, which you should be familiar with from your days of expanding brackets, which we're going to do with no surprises time and time again in this A-level course. 5 times x gives us 5x, 5 multiplied by 3 gives us the 15. Question 2, similar idea to question 1 really, but only now we have some of this large rectangle filled in. So 5 times 5, this number here is going to be 25. 5 multiplied by something here gives us 5. Well, 5 multiplied by 1 gives us 5, and so this missing number above must be 5. Sorry, must be 1. Don't even know what 1 is instead of 5. No, that should be 1, because 5 times 1 gives us 5. We're also told in the question explanation that the larger rectangle has an area of 42. So 5 plus 1, we now know that this has an area of, a length of 6. So we can say here that this is 6. Just get rid of that there. And so we can therefore deduce that this length downwards has to be 7. Because 6 times 7 gives us the 42 we require. So 5 plus what number gives us 7? Obviously that must be 2. So we now know this one in the bottom left is 5 along, 2 wide. 5 times 2 gives us 10. And this final one here is 1 multiplied by 2, which is 2. As a double check, add up all these numbers here, you'll find that they come to a total of 42. Question 3, again a similar idea to question 1 and 2. Find an expression for the area of the larger rectangle below. So this box here is going to be x multiplied by x, which is x squared. Now this bottom one here has an area of x, if you like, so x multiplied by something gives us x. That has to be x multiplied by 1. X multiplied by anything else wouldn't give us x. This bottom right one, we've got 1 multiplied by something above gives us 2. Well, we know that 1 multiplied by 2 gives us 2, so this top value has to be 2. Now we can work out this top right box, finally, which is x multiplied by 2, which we write as 2x. So what we did is we multiplied the top, which was x and positive 2, x plus 2, by the side, which was x and positive 1, x plus 1. And what we had is an x squared and two groups of x's. We have 2x here and an extra x there. 2x plus x gives us a total of 3x's, and then plus 2. So going back to the ideas of expanding brackets, you should know if you expand these brackets you would get this answer. This here is a geometric way of picturing that expression here. So that's the result algebraically. This is how you could imagine it pictorially. Question 4, expand and simplify these. So without using a diagram, when we expand brackets, we take everything before the bracket and multiply it in turn by everything on the inside. So first of all we do x multiplied by x, which is x squared. We then do x multiplied by positive 3, which is positive 3x. Now we do the same for the second set of brackets. So 2 multiplied by x is positive 2x. And then positive 2 multiplied by positive 3 gives us positive 6. We can now go one stage further though and simplify. So x squared, we have one lot of that, but we do have 3x's and an extra 2x's. 3x plus 2x is going to give us 5x. And then finally the constant 6 on the end. For part B, we have a similar idea. So x multiplied by 2x and x multiplied by 1. X multiplied by 2x gives us 2x squared, whereas x multiplied by 1 just gives us x. In exactly the same way, we do the same here. 2 multiplied by 2x gives us positive 4x, and then 2 multiplied by 1 gives us positive 2. This can be simplified again, so we have 2x squareds, x plus 4x's gives us positive 5x, and then finally plus 2 at the end. And that's your first set of warm-up questions completed. So now let's have a look at the main part of this lesson. So I can't stress enough the importance of algebraic manipulation. So what does it say here? Well, algebra underpins most of the content in A-level mathematics and ultimately determines your level of success in this course. That is absolutely true. Why is this? Well, simply put, even if you understand how to apply the mathematical ideas in the questions, you will pretty much always lose marks if you make silly errors when collecting like terms or rearranging an equation. A calculator can only take you so far. You need to have the understanding yourself. Master algebraic manipulation and reap the rewards. Quite. So let's have a look at some examples which will help you to practice and master these skills. So a set of worked examples here. Worked examples 1, expanding linear brackets and simplifying. So first of all, expand the expressions and then if possible simplify them. So part A, like I mentioned before, we take what's on the outside of a bracket and multiply it by everything on the inside in turn. So we take the minus 2x and multiply it by 5. Minus 2 times 5 gives us minus 10x. And then minus 2x multiplied by minus 3x. Minus multiplied by minus gives us a plus. 2 times 3 is 6. X multiplied by x is x squared. So that's part A done. Part B, same idea, but now we have an a cubed on the outside. So first of all, a cubed multiplied by 4a squared. So we're going to have 4 a cubed multiplied by another a squared, a times a times a times a times a. Remember the laws of indices now if you can. That's a to the power 5. When we multiply the bases, which the bases are the same, we add the powers. 3 plus 2, new power is 5. Then we do a cubed multiplied by 3a. So we're going to have 3 a cubed multiplied by another a, that's a to the power 4. And finally, a cubed multiplied by minus 1 gives us minus a cubed. Finally, part C, 5y multiplied by 2y. 5 times 2 is 10, y times y is y squared. And 5y multiplied by 7, 5 times 7 is 35, and don't forget the y. Same idea of the second set of brackets. We do minus 2 multiplied by 6, minus 2 multiplied by 6 is minus 12, and then minus 2 multiplied by minus 3y, minus times a minus is a plus, so 2 multiplied by 3y is positive 6y. Now this one we can simplify down slightly further, because we have 35y here, and also a 6y here. We can't merge the y squareds with the y's, because y squared is a different term, a different type to a y without the squared. So we leave the 10y squared on its own, but we can combine the y's. 35 plus 6y is 41y's, and finally minus 12. We're at example 2. I'm going to show you these using the standard approach, and then I'm going to show you how you can use an approach similar to the warm-up which we started before the lesson proper. I would suggest this approach which I'm going to show you first as the standard approach, but I'm going to remind you of what we did in the warm-up as a fallback option in case you need that to just warm yourselves up. But what I'm going to show you after this method is slower, but it's a nice example just to show you in case. So here, expanding two brackets. You might remember from GCSE something called FOIL. First, outside, inside, last. That's great if you're expanding just a 2 by 2 set of brackets. But what about brackets like these, where it's a 2 by 3, or this one here? I would expect you to be moving away from FOIL. Try to think of it as taking the first term and multiplying by each other term in the second bracket, step by step. Then do the same with the second term in the first bracket, multiplying everything in the second bracket, step by step. So first of all, 3x multiplied by x, that's going to give us 3x squared. And 3x multiplied by minus 4 is minus 12x. Then 2 multiplied by x is positive 2x. And finally, positive 2 multiplied by minus 4 is minus 8. We can now simplify this down. So we have 3x squared minus 12x plus an extra 2x. Minus 12 plus 2 is minus 10 x's. And finally, minus 8. Part B. So multiply the x by everything in the second bracket step by step. So first of all, x times 5x, that's 5x squared. X multiplied by 3y, that gives us positive 3xy. Then x multiplied by minus 8 gives us minus 8x. Same idea, just takes us a bit longer because there's more terms to be expanding. Now we do minus y multiplied by 5x, which is minus 5xy. Minus y multiplied by 3y's gives us minus 3y squared. And finally, minus y multiplied by minus 8. Minus multiplied by minus gives us a plus, so we have plus positive 8y. We can now simplify this down a tiny bit though, because if you're eagle-eyed and careful, what you should see here is we've got like terms in xy. We have positive 3xy here, and minus 5xy over here. So these can be grouped together. So overall we have 5x squared. 3xy's minus 5xy's gives us minus 2 xy. Then all the rest of the terms just in sequence as they are. It can't be simplified further. So we've got minus 8x, minus 3y squared, and plus 8y. And I'll just colour code this just to remind you where we got this minus 2xy from. It was from these two terms here being combined into this one. Part C, y squared plus 4x multiplied by all of this second bracket. So first of all, multiply the y squared by the x. That gives us xy squared. Y squared multiplied by 7 gives us 7y squared. Y squared multiplied by minus 3y, that gives us minus 3y cubed. Now multiply the second term of the first bracket by all the other terms in the second bracket. So minus 4x times x is positive 4x squared. Positive 4x multiplied by positive 7 is positive 28x. And then 4x multiplied by minus 3y. 4 times 3 is 12, so 4 times minus 3 is minus 12, and x times y we just write as xy. If you're wondering, he's colour coding all of this stuff, do I need to? The quick answer is no, you don't. I'm just colour coding it here, so hopefully it'll help you to see where these terms are coming from after I've expanded them. Okay, so that's by doing it without using a picture or a diagram or a box method. I'm going to show you now how to do this using this box method. So this is the preferred method I'd like you to use, but I'm going to show you a second method in case you really like this way. So, same examples, a different way. So if I take the first one, 3x plus 2, and then x minus 4, what I could do is I could think of this and do it as a diagram. So along the top, I write down the first bracket. Whoops, that's me doing a mistake before we even started. That's meant to say 3x plus 2. Apologies. At least I've spotted it now. And down the side, you write the second bracket, which is x minus 4. So then you just multiply what's above each box by what's to the side of it. So 3x multiplied by x is 3x squared. This one is going to be 2x. This one is minus 12x. I'm going to go through this fairly speedily because you've seen these answers before. I'm just trying to get across the method rather than the answers. Positive 2 minus 4 gives us minus 8. So this all simplifies down to 3x squared plus, whoops, silly mistake again, apologies. You'll find that with my videos I do make mistakes, although I'll happen to correct them before the final answer, touch wood. Minus 12 plus 2, that's minus 10x, and then minus 8. The second one as a box, x minus y, well that's going to be two terms going along, and down the bottom, this is 1, 2, 3 terms. So the box might look something like this. So, first of all, x times 5x is 5x squared. Over here, we have minus 5xy. X multiplied by 3y is 3xy. 3y multiplied by minus y, that's minus 3y squared. X times minus 8, minus 8x. Minus 8 multiplied by minus y is positive 8y. Again, this can be simplified. So we have 3xy here, minus 5xy there. So that becomes minus 2xy's overall. What we have here is 5x squared, minus 2xy's overall, minus this 8x, minus 3y squared, and then plus 8y. The last one, using this box method, I'll show you again how you could set it out. You might want to set it out something like this. Y squared plus 4x along the top, x plus 7 minus 3y along the bottom. So this can be expanded out in the same way. So x times y squared is xy squared. X times 4x is 4x squared. Y squared times 7 is 7y squared. 7 times 4x, 28x. y squared multiplied by minus 3y is minus 3y cubed. Minus 3y multiplied by 4x gives us minus 12xy. And that can't be simplified in any way. And so there's no simpler way of doing that than to just write out all of these terms as they are in a line. So we have, again, like we did before, xy squared plus 7y squared minus 3y cubed plus 4x squared plus for 28x minus for 12xy. Now let's have a look at the worked examples 3. So slightly harder these, not just 2 brackets, but 3 different things to expand. So I'm going to move away from the boxes for a second and suggest we use a different method. So for this one, what I'd suggest we do for part A is we multiply one bracket or one thing by the other bracket. So the 2 become one bracket or just one thing. And then we can do the next step as we did in worked example 2. So what I'm going to suggest we do, first of all, is we multiply the x by the first bracket, leave the last bracket as it is, and then carry on as normal after. So what we do, x times 3x gives us 3x squared. X times 2 would give us 2x. So all we've done is that stage. Don't need to do anything else yet. And we've left this x minus 4 completely alone. Now we've done that, we can carry on and work through like we did for worked example 2. So we can multiply the 3x squared by x, which gives us 3x cubed. Then 3x squared multiplied by minus 4 is minus 12x squared. And same idea with a plus 2x. So plus 2x multiplied by x is positive 2x squared. And finally, positive 2x multiplied by minus 4, that's going to give us minus 8x. This can be slightly simplified down. So we've got 3x cubed, but minus 12x squared plus 2x squared, so that's only going to give us minus 10x squared overall. And then finally, obviously at the end, minus 8x. This next one we can do in pretty much exactly the same way as the first. So I'm going to suggest we take the x and the 2x minus 3y and merge it into the one bracket. So x multiplied by 2x is 2x squared, and x multiplied by minus 3y is going to be minus 3xy. Then we're going to just leave this second bracket as it is for now, but now in this second stage we're going to multiply it out like we did in the previous example. So 2x squared multiplied by y, that's going to give us 2x squared y. Then 2x squared multiplied by 3x. 2 times 3 is 6. X squared times x is x cubed. Then x squared multiplied by 1. So 2x squared multiplied by 1 is going to give us whoops. There we go again. It's a minus 1, isn't it? So if I just correct that and say minus 1. Whoopsie, almost. Just caught myself in time. So 2x squared multiplied by minus 1, that's going to give us minus 2x squared. Now multiply the minus 3xy by all the terms in here. So minus 3xy multiplied by y, that's going to be minus 3x y squared. Then multiply it by the 3x. Minus 3 multiplied by 3 is going to be minus 9. X times x gives us x squared. And then the y. And finally, minus 3xy multiplied by minus 1. Again, minus multiplied by minus is going to give us a positive, so we end up with positive 3xy. Now this, again, will simplify down slightly. So we have 6x cubed, so we can do 6x cubed, just write that down easily enough. We have also 2 lots of x squared y's. So we've got an x squared y here, minus 9 lots of x squared y over here. So 2 lots minus 7 lots becomes minus 7 lots of x squared y. We now have minus 2 lots of x squared, so we can fill in minus 2 x squared like so. We also have minus 3 lots of xy squared, which is subtly different to 3xy, so we can't combine this with that. So finally, we're just going to put in plus 3 lots of xy. So as you can see, there's not much simplification that can be done. All we can do here is combine the x squared y's into one group of x squared y's. So these 6 terms only end up becoming 5 terms, but because it can be simplified a bit, that's why it must be done. If anything can be simplified, it must. Finally now, part C. So what I'm going to suggest we do is we just expand these 2 brackets here, make them into 1, and then for the second step multiply what we end up with by the 2x plus 1. So we're going to leave 2x plus 1 on its own for now, and expand out these first 2. So I'm hoping you know a quick way of doing this, where the coefficients of the x's are both 1. So x multiplied by x, that's going to give us x squared. We now look at these numbers. When we add the numbers together, that's going to give us the coefficient of x. So 2 plus 3, that would give us 5x. And the product of these numbers gives us the constant term at the end. So 2 multiplied by 3 gives us positive 6. If you want to expand this out the long way, be my guest, but I would recommend for A-level you speed on to doing these quicker approaches as soon as you can to save yourself the time. This one here needs to be expanded into that very, very quickly indeed, in a matter of seconds, once you're warmed up and at full speed with your mathematical abilities. So get to doing this very quickly. So now we've got this, we can now expand this out in the normal way, taking each term in turn and multiplying it by each of these. So x squared multiplied by 2x, that's going to give us 2x cubed. And x squared multiplied by 1 is obviously just 1x squared. Now we do the same with the 5x. So 5x multiplied by 2x, 5 times 2 is 10, x times x is x squared, and then 5x multiplied by 1 is just 5x. Finally, we come to the positive 6. So positive 6 multiplied by 2x, that's going to give us positive 12x. And finally, positive 6 multiplied by positive 1 is just plus 6. This can now be simplified down somewhat. So we have 2x squared, so 2x cubed, can't even read, that's embarrassing. X squared plus 10x squareds, that gives us plus 11x squared altogether. 5x plus 12x gives us 17x altogether. And finally just this plus 6 at the end, which we mustn't forget about. And we're done. Now it's over to you. So after the worked examples and completing the notes, you need to get into the habit of trying these questions on your own. So here's the suggested exercises. So at the beginning of the book, I want you to have a stab at exercise 1A. Question 2, just attempt these parts. Then move on to page 4, exercise 1B, and attempt these parts of just these questions. Be more if you really want to, but prioritise doing these first and foremost and complete every question. You need to be good and solid at these before we can move on to the more advanced things. So make sure you do these, get up to speed with them, do them enough so you start finding them easy once again after a long summer. Best of luck with them. If you get stuck, ask me in class, or send me an email, or leave me a comment in the comment section of this video. Thanks for listening to this one, and I'll hopefully see you again very soon indeed. Thanks for listening.